Yes. So you are able to see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So last class, you remember, right? We have discussed what is meant by probability. I hope. So how many definitions are there for probability?
Three are there, sir.
Three, sir.
Three. So finally, the one which we are using is axiomatic. And please remember, so what is meant by probability? What is the definition of probability? An axiomatic definition mathematically. So probability is a
Measure.
it is a measure actually. Okay, it is like length, area, volume kind of thing. But whatever probability say, it has to satisfy these three axioms. This is a fundamental thing which none of you should forget. Okay, if any event is greater than zero, it is same. All the principles are same as length and area only. Only this is one extra. That is a maximum probability you can assign is one. Okay, that is the only thing. So the advantage of this definition is, so this definition is much more general actual. Okay, so you can even assign probabilities 1 by root 2, root 3, all irrational, everything can be you followed, right? So that is the advantage of this definition. Then we also discussed conditional probability, which is just a sample space has been restricted actual. Okay, so this also satisfies all the axioms. So one can prove all these things also. Okay, so this also we have discussed in our last class. So some important things we derived based on conditional probability, like P A intersection B is P of A by B by P of B, or this is P of A by B, say. Okay, given A, given B, so P A intersection B by P of B. So we have derived in our last class. That is very the straightforward. Now in the probability theory, another most important thing which we will be using is a total probability theorem. Okay, so this is also very the important, and we will be using this widely. You follow that two theorems are there: probability theorem, and another one is Bayes theorem, which is nothing but the inverse probability. Okay, so this theorem says like this. Okay, so if you have the events, say AI. Okay, so I runs from 1 to n are mutually exclusive, say. Okay, so these are all mutually exclusive and then collectively exhaustive. Okay, so we have already explained what is meant by mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive also we have explained. So mutual, so this is something like this. So this is my collectively exhaustive means if I add all of them, I should get my sample space. Okay, so these are my events. So like this, A1, A2, like this, some AN minus 1 and then AN. So this is my, this one, the whole sample space. So I have having the events, AI, this one. So now A1 and A2, all of them are mutually exclusive. So if they are mutually exclusive, so what will be P1, A1 intersection A2? No. What will be this quantity? Or A1, intersection A2. What is A1 intersection A2? If they are mutually exclusive, see this and tell me.
Null, sir.
No, it is null set because nothing is you followed it common between this one and A1 image. So this is meant by mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. So that means A1 union A2 union A3 like this. Union AN, say. Now what is this one? If I do add, if the union of all these sets will give me
Sample space.
sample space. So this is the meaning of collectively exhaustive, and this is a mutually exclusive. So now if it is something, then if I want to find out any event B, say, which is something like this. Okay, now I have an event, some B, which is a combination of all these individual things actually. So this I call it as B. So if I want to find out probability of any event B, so what this total probability theorem says is P of you say B given AI multiplied by P of AI. So this is the meaning of this statement. So this you can easily prove also. So that means so P of B, if you see, say, so B is this event actually, which is this the slide this type of you follow. This is the event B, say. So if I want to find out probability of B, it is a contribution of this portion actually. Okay, I can split this into pieces. So this portion plus this portion plus this portion like this, which is coming from all these events. So P of B can be written as a probability of A1 intersection B plus P of A2 intersection B. So like this, say I have so P of A n, say, okay, intersection B. So these are my I can write P of B like this. So now P of A1 intersection B. So this is given by this conditional probability set. So this whatever we wrote in our last class. So this can be written as so P of A1 given B. Sorry, P of, so this you have to write differently. So P of B given A1 actually, because A1s are fixed. P of B given A1 multiplied by P of A1 plus P of B given A2. Okay, so P of A2. So like this, I have to sum up all the quantities. So this means, you see, so this becomes I is equal to 1 to n. So P of B given A, I say, okay, multiplied by P of A. So this is the total probability theorem. So what this total probability theorem says is, if I want to find out probability of any event B, say, which is a subset of the sample space. So what it says is you break this into individual pieces. If I know the basis functions A1, A2, A3, these are all my basis functions. You find out the intersection with all these individual, these mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive events, and you find out their probabilities, and then you add up, say. So you will get back the total probability. Okay, so this is how so this is something like in our mathematics, say linear algebra, if we have a vector, okay, so we split it into 3 scalars. We project the vector into on the x-axis, then on the we write 2i plus 3j plus 5k, you remember. So ij, k, they are the vectors, say. So something like that is this total probability theorem actually. So this has lot of the examples. So like for example, say if you see this damage, okay, the structural damage. So since we are civil engineering, so structural damage, say. Let us say the structural damage can happen due to earthquake, okay. It can also happen due to fire, or it can happen also due to wind. Of course, there are so many things are there. Right now we take only these are the major things actually. Okay, so these are the 3. So the structure can be damaged by this 3 events. Okay, and somebody has already calculated. See, like what is the structure's life? Structural life generally, as I already told you, apartment lifetime, say. Okay, in our given in the international code books, it is 50 years actually. Okay, this is a lifetime of the structures. So somebody in the last 50 years or in the past, say, they have observed how many earthquakes have occurred. So in the last 1000 years you followed, right, how many earthquakes have occurred. So based on that, one can find out the probability of earthquake occurring, how many fire accidents have happened, how many wind accidents have happened in 50 years duration or whatever, say. So somebody has established like this is a 0.2, then this is a 0.5, then this is a 0.3. So the probability of earthquake occurring, occurrence is 0.2, fire is 0.5, wind is 0.3, say. And then somebody also has calculated probability of damage during an earthquake actually is 0.05, and then probability of damage due to fire, basically this is 0.005. Then probabilities of damage for wind actually. Okay, so this is 0.01. So this so in an earthquake, what is the damage? In fire, what is the damage? In wind, what is the damage? So I have these independent things itself. So now if I want to find out the total damage, I don't want to have earthquake or fire or wind or whatever. So now how do I find out the total damage to my structure? Yeah. So damage consists of, so damage means the damage has been split into 3 things actually. One is due to earthquake, one is due to fire, then other one is due to wind basically. Okay, so now that individual I know the things like what's the probability of damage due to earthquake, damage due to fire, damage due to wind, and probability of earthquake. So this I know individually, I know. Now I want to find out the overall the damage to my structure itself. So how do I find out this one? So this problem is same as no.
Total probability theorem.
So this one, so A1, A2, A3, A4, whatever they have been given, say. So that is your earthquake, fire, and wind. Now we have the individual things are there. So now we have to use this total probability theorem. So this becomes I is equal to 1, 2, 3. So probabilities of damage you followed, right? These individual events. So or instead of EAI, I will write this as E. Okay. So this one and probability of this individual event. So now you sum up all those individual things actually. So 0.05 plus 0.5 into 0.005 plus 0.3 into 0.01. So the total damage to my structure is 0.015. So individual damages I know. The overall damage for my structures in the next 50 years is same. So this is my the information actual. Okay. So this way you follow, right? We can estimate using the damages also. See, like another example also we can give like an investment, okay, in the banks or whatever. See, nowadays if I have money say, so now what are the options for us? Now, how do people invest money? Like you say, some of your parents are remembering, like bank is one option. Then gold, so generally, right? Everybody, whatever money they have, say they invest some portions in bank, some portions in gold, some portions in the stock market also, or mutual funds or whatever. So let us say this I call as A1. So three things are there. Okay. So A1, then this is A2, and then this is A3. Okay. Now somebody says in banks, say the profit, whatever you followed, right? The banks thing is a 0.35% of people are putting, or probabilities of these individual things, you say 0.3. Okay. Then somebody says that probability of gain basically, okay, in the banks is, if I know this number say, so 0.015, and probabilities of gain in gold basically, okay, is 0.01, and then probability of this gain say in stock market is 0.02. So I know the individuals, and I know the you followed it, the individual things itself. Now if I want to find out my total gain, actually I have invested in three options. Now if I want to find out the total, how much benefit if I'm going to get, you can use once again the total probability theorem. So this problem is you have to multiply this, and then this itself. So finally, you see, we will get this solution as some 0.01475 or something like that. We will get it actually. Okay. So this is how you followed, right? We try to compute, the issues actually. Okay, the total probability theorem. So these are very, very, the important theorem which we will be using, in many problems basically. Okay. Now the next theorem which is widely used is Bayes theorem. Now, or this theorem is sometimes people also call this as inverse probability. Okay, that is a reciprocal of our the other theorem basically. So this theorem, what it says is the total probability theorem. What we were finding is, so we have the the mutually exclusive or whatever, we have these individual events. Now to compute the total probabilities, so we split it into piece by piece actually. How much is overlapped with the A1, how much is overlapped with the A2, and then we sum it up actually. Now this Bayes theorem is something like inverse of this the total probability theorem itself. So what here we do is like this. Okay. Now, so here what we try to do is, so given B has occurred. So given an event B has occurred. Now, so what is the probability? Okay, that it is from AI. You followed. So it is something like the same A1, A2, A3, they are all mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive or whatever. Now what we are trying to say is B has already occurred. What is the probability that it is from AI kind of thing? So here what we are interested is B has already occurred. Okay, so what is the probability that it is, we are trying to find out A, it belongs to AI was responsible. So this can be written as a probability of AI intersection B, P of B. Okay, so this I can write this as probability of B greater than AI. Okay, multiplied by probability of AI divided by so this is P of B. So this comes from the total probability theorem. So B greater than AI multiplied by P of AI actually. So this is my you followed it. This is Bayes the theorem itself. So now let us see one examples here. See, it is something like, if I see this example, say, okay. So like you see, so this, this stock market example, you see. So now, we have invested in bank, gold and stock, and we have found out the total gain or something. Now, let us say in the future or whatever, I have got some gain actually. Okay. So some money, I have invested in these three. Now, already I have got some gain of 10,000 rupees, or I have got a profit of, some 1 lakh or whatever this one. Now I will ask the inverse question actually. Now what is the probability that I would have got maximum profit? This profit came only from the banks. This profit mainly comes from this gold or the stocks itself. So this is what is we are interested here. So it is something like I have got gain actually. Okay. So what is the probability that it has come from bank? So it is something like the probability. So it is something like gain has happened. Okay, this event has occurred. I have got a, the gain of some, some money has come. Now, what is the probability? Okay, it is from, the banks. So I would like to ask the inverse question actually. So this, you can write this as, so probability of gain given A1 multiplied by probability of A1. This is below we will have probability of gain actually, which anyway comes from the total probability theorem. What is probability of gain given A1? Yeah. So probability of gain given A1 is how much? Now you can see here 0. You followed right, 0.15 multiplied by probability of A1, that also we know 0.35 divided by the total probability this one. So this also we have 0.0 you followed right, 1475 or something. So this turns out to be 0.35. You followed. So this is my, the thing. So now similarly, so I can also find out probability that my gain, basically gain has occurred, whether it is due to, you followed it, this, the stocks or whatever, the second one side. So this turn gold or something. So this turns out to be gain given, the A2 multiplied by P of A2. By probability of gain. Okay, so this turns out to be, you can calculate, all the numbers are there, 0.237. Then probability of A3 say given G, that is a stocks basically. So this turns to be 0.407 actual. And now you tell me in this problem say, so which is the most profitable thing, whether a bank or the you followed right, the gold or this stock market, which is the one which has contributed maximum to your gain. No, which is the one maximum. See, already you have got profit. Okay, so you have got profit. What is the probability that this profit has been caused by banks? Is how much?
0.35.
35. Now probability say you have got profit actually. You have got some profit. The probability that your profit has come only from gold is how much?
0.237.
237. Now in a similar fashion say the probability you have got gain from mutual funds or stock markets. How much is this one?
0.407.
So now you tell me which is the best for investment, gold or the the bank or the stock market?
For this example, it's stock markets.
Significantly it is basically the stock market actually. Okay, so this is something you followed right, very the useful kind of thing. See, previously whatever we had said, okay, so this is a 0.35, 0.35 and 0.3. So this is a probability you followed right. These are the, your investment is something like this. And here probability of gain given in stock markets you followed at 0.02, 0.01, you had these numbers itself. Now this will tell you exactly that the gain caused due to stocks, gain caused due to this one, and gain caused due to, you can find out from this, the Bayes theorem itself. So it is a very you followed it important thing, and sometimes we use this Bayes theorem say for updating also. Okay. This also is a very interesting example we will see. It is also basically sometimes we call this as updating probability. So this example also you followed right. It will be this one. So like for example, so now we are having a COVID situation, right? The best example you see we can have. So generally, if you see in the total population, say, okay. So I'm giving you one vaccine, this one. So I have a population, that is in the whole population. So everybody knows that 1% of the total population, say 1% of the total population have cancer. Okay, and 99% doesn't have cancer. So this data, it is very easy actually. How many people have died due to cancer, or how many people have taken treatment you followed, right? So these numbers are known to us. So the probability of cancer, say, okay, is 1%, that is 1 by 100, and probability of no cancer, okay, in the population is 99 by 100 actually. Okay, and now let us say when you have to do a test actually. If somebody has a cancer or not, say people do test like our COVID test. Now when you do the COVID test, say, or any test, medical test, the problem what happens is the test also has some kind of efficiency. See, this RT-PCR test or whatever test you do, say, it may suppose the person will have really COVID, but it may give negative also. You followed. Or sometimes a person who doesn't have COVID or who doesn't have cancer also, sometimes you see the test may tell that he is a positive, or the wrong things also will be there. So this every instrument they have some errors, like you see a probability you will get a positive given a cancer. So it is something like the person has cancer and the test also says positive only, is 80%, is the efficacy, efficiency of the test, and probability say of negative. So cancer, the person really has cancer, but the test shows it is negative. It is not able to detect, say, if it is 20 by 100 actually. Okay. Now similarly, so probability that it is a positive and the person doesn't have no cancer. You follow. This also is a issue. 10 by 100 actually. Okay. And probability that the test result will be negative and the person has no cancer. Okay. So this is you see 90 by 100 actually. So this you can easily estimate from the data. So this example I'm giving cancer, but one can do for COVID situation. If you see, right, you will get all the the details actually. So this is this is a number which we know in the population how many people approximately roughly have cancer, roughly doesn't have cancer. This information we know, and this is the efficiency of the test actually. So whenever you do any test, say, they report these numbers also. Say like RT-PCR test, say for COVID, that also there are some percentages are there. If a person really has COVID and the test also says positive, say how much is this one, how much. So these numbers will be given by the companies actually. Okay, the RT-PCR test somebody says, right, or maybe you can take even the vaccine efficiency also, like Covaxin, some 70%, some numbers are available. So now this information has been given actually. Now in the original population, say 1%. So now somebody has done a test actually. So some person you followed it, he has done a test, he has carried out a test. Now he has got you can easily find out, you followed, right, the probabilities here. The person has cancer and the test result is positive actually. You follow. So now this you have to find out. See, suppose somebody has really cancer and the test result, like so you have got positive actually. Okay. So the test result is a positive. Now what is the probability that, like, given the test result is a positive, what is the probability that you really have cancer actually? So it is something like given that the test result say is positive. Okay. So what is the probability that the person has cancer? Has cancer. You follow? So like you see, somebody has done the test and he got a positive result. What is the probability that he really has cancer? So this we want to find out actually. Okay. So these are these details are given by the companies or whatever this one, and these approximate the total population. So how many, these numbers are also very well known actually. Okay. So now this we have to find out probability of cancer given you followed it positive. So this I can write this as probability positive given the the cancer and given by you followed it the probability of positive. So this I can compute from the Bayes theorem actually. Okay. So probability of a positive And then so this you can easily you follow, right? So how do you find out this one probability of positive? Yeah. So this is same thing which we are using for the Bayes theorem. Okay, so this is my Bayes theorem. So Bayes theorem says is like this. So here so probability cancer say given positive. So B is positive and A is the person really has a cancer. So this you can find out from the Bayes theorem. So in the denominator, say you have this probability of positive. So this you can easily find out from this this expression, that is given cancer, no cancer. So 80 by 100, 10 by 100 we have. So this you can find out this number also. So if you calculate this one, say okay. So you get this number as 7.47%, very low. You followed, or you see 7 point. If you sum up all those things, you see this one actually. So probability of positive you calculate from this expression. So probability of positive given cancer multiplied by probability of cancer plus probability of positive no cancer multiplied by probability of no cancer actually. So you know these numbers. So probability of positive given cancer is 80 by 100. And what is the probability of getting cancer in the population? So it is 1 by 100. That's what we have said. Okay. So 1 by 100 plus possibility of positive no cancer, that is 10 by 100. Okay. Multiplied by 99 by 100. So this you can compute. So substitute in this expression, say. So finally, probably this you will get it as 7.47% actually. So what is your comment here? So what is the comment here? 7.47. See, somebody has done a cancer test, say, okay, and he has got positive. Now, what is the probability that he will get? He has really cancer. Now, how much is the probability? Now, what is the probability? Say, like here, if you see, what is the probability of cancer?
1%.
1%. That is from the total population. Now, this is a probability. So now the probability, suppose if I take in the entire population, say 1% I have selected. And what is the probability of that fellow getting cancer? If I select a random person from the entire population, say, what is the probability that he has a cancer? Now, what is the probability that he has a cancer? 1% actually. Now, so this is a probability. So suppose if I ask, so the probability of a person getting cancer in India or whatever this one is 1 by 100 actually. So this is the original probability. Now, what this person has done is he has done the test actually, and the test has told it is a positive. So now what is this probability? Probability of a person has the test result. Okay. So the test result is a positive. And what is the probability that the person has a cancer? How much is this probability?
7.47.
Now previously how much was the probability? See, probability of cancer was how much? Without doing the test, approximately, you see, randomly if you take any person, so you can easily say that the probability of getting cancer was 1% only. Now what you have done, you have updated actually. So you have done the test, you followed it, you have done the test, and now what is the probability of getting cancer? It is 7.47% actually. So now what has happened here? What is that you have done? The probability of getting cancer is 1%, but after doing the test and the test result is also positive, say. So the probability of person getting cancer is how much now? 7% actually. So what has happened? What he has exactly done here? So we have updated the probability. So now without knowing any information, I don't have any information, just from the approximately from the data, my answer was 1%. Now I have extra information also. So somebody has done the test and he has supported like positive or something. So now my probability has been updated actually. You followed. So the probability of cancer has been updated with this information actually. You followed. So this is what we call as updating probability. So this you can do with the help of the Bayes theorem actually. Okay. So whatever assumptions you have set the starting point of a time, you can update based on the the results also. So this is a very you followed it important thing, and you follow, right? It will be very, a powerful thing, the Bayes theorem itself. So let us say one more example I will show you, like weather forecasting, say rain forecasting. Okay, so let us look at this example also. Now, if we take in Rajasthan or whatever, say some place in the desert area. Okay, in the desert, how many days we have? 365 days we have. So somebody you followed it has seen the past history or whatever. So generally they have observed that 5 days, okay, will have rain. You followed, right? So 5 days in the entire 365 days, so only 5 days will have rain actually. So now if you want to find out probability that it will rain tomorrow, so A1, I have two events actually, rains tomorrow. So I want to find out whether there will be rain tomorrow or not. This is my question. So A1, then A2 is no rain tomorrow. You followed it, no rain tomorrow. So what is the probability of A1? Based on this data, I want to find out whether tomorrow there will be rain or not. Now approximately in desert area, I have somebody has told me that in 365 days, only 5 days only will have rain actually. Now what's the probability that it rains tomorrow?
5 by 365.
So 5 by 365. And what is A2? It will not rain.
360 by 365.
360 by 365. So this information all of you know just based on the data. Now somebody you followed it to help you. You see somebody has done a weather forecast actually. Okay, some cloud movement or whatever you followed. Somebody has done this weather forecast, which comes you followed it in the TV channels or whatever. So I have an event B. So it says weather forecast is correct. So weather forecast also, whenever they do forecast, say whether that will be correct or what will happen. Weather forecasting, they will tell you exact or what is that.
So there is some variation.
It won't be exact.
There will be some error. Okay. So every weather forecast has some error actually. So if this also will have a probability. Let us say I take event B, which says weather forecast is correct actually. Okay. So probability of B given A1, that is no rains. It's suppose the weather forecaster has told tomorrow it will rain, and really rain happened, say. Okay. So this probability is 90% actually. And then probability there is no rain tomorrow, but weather forecaster says there is still rain actually. You followed. So the weather forecast says it is rain, and then no rain occurs. Let us say this is 0.1. So this is a very efficient, the forecaster actually. Okay. And now, so this information has been provided to you. You followed, right? So this information is provided to you. This weather forecasting, say some website or something, they monitor the clouds or something. They also tell us whether it will rain tomorrow or tomorrow. So that fellow, based on the cloud movement or something, he said tomorrow there is rain actually. Okay. And this weather forecast also will have some errors. So like for example, they said tomorrow rain is there, and weather forecast also has predicted rain is there. So that is a 0.9, and he has 90% accuracy actually. That's the meaning of this 0.9. So now you have to find out what is the probability of A1 given B actually. You followed. So what is the meaning of this A1 given B physically? No, probability of what is that you are checking here?
Probability of rain when weather forecast is correct.
Weather forecast, it means something like you have been given additional information has been given to you. You followed, right? Additional information has been provided to you. Without this additional information, say what is probability of A1 without any information? Now, without any information, say what is the probability of A1 it will rain?
5 by 365.
Without any information. Now what is the advantage? You are having information with you. Now given this extra information, now you have to update your probability actually. You followed. So now you are updating the probability of A1 that it will rain tomorrow given this information. So this you have to use Bayes theorem. Okay. So Bayes theorem is, that's what is updation of this probability. So sigma, so B given AI multiplied by P of AI. So this will turn out to be 11% actually. You followed. So now the original probability was 5 by 365. Now it has the probability has been updated to 11% actually. You followed. So of course you can do for no rain also. You can do that also. You can calculate. Or in the previous problem, say we have done cancer given positive. That also you can find out. You say negative or no cancer also you can find out. So it is something like you followed it. Updating the probabilities based on the existing information. And please remember, Bayes theorem is a very important even in system identification actually. Okay. So in system identification, so this becomes very important. So I think Vaibhav is doing some bridge idea. You follow it, metal properties of bridge, or if you want to do say. So now what is the probability that you follow it? The bridge, or suppose if I have any structures, it will fail. You can easily calculate. Now let us say somebody has measured the damage, or somebody has measured the cracks, somebody has provided you the instrumental data say. Now you can update, so like probability of damage of my structure. So this I can calculate actually. Okay. So based on the data, say how many, how many houses have collapsed or something, I can do it. Now if somebody gives me additional information, okay, like you say somebody has done instrumentation or somebody has done some extra information has been given. So now what I will do is, I will update my, the probability. So this I can do with the help of the Bayes theorem. That is the most very followed application of this Bayes theorem. Okay. So these are the two fundamental theorems all of you should remember. One is a total probability theorem. So total probability theorem, what it does is the total probability is split into piece actual. Okay. So you take the contribution of each piece and then you add it. Now, but Bayes theorem is something like the inverse. You can use it for whether it belongs to this one or that, also you can use it, or you can also use it for updating your informations also. So these are very important the examples you followed, right? You should please keep it in your mind. Okay. And now another most important concept in probability is a stochastic independence. So this also is a very the important concept. Okay, the stochastic independence. So if it is a P of A given P and B, so there are two events, A and B. Okay, now P of A given B, say if they are independent actually. So this if I can write this as a P of A itself, then the meaning is A and B, say they are stochastically independent. Okay, so this is the meaning of the independence. Or so probability of A given B say. Okay, so which is we have already written A intersection B by P of B itself. So this to get P of A, so this has to be P of A into P of B by P of B. So this gets us P of A itself. So stochastic independence meaning is probability of A given B is a probability of A itself. That means A and B, B doesn't have any effect on A actually. Okay, or I can also write this as probability of A intersection B say as P of A into P of B. So this is the meaning of stochastic independence. Okay. Now see what is the mutually exclusive means. What is the probability A intersection B? What is will be this probability of A intersection B if they are mutually exclusive?
Null set.
No, A intersection B is null set. What is the probability of getting null set? Now, what is the probability of getting null set? No, what's the probability of getting null set? Null means nothing actually. Now, what's the probability of null set? What's the probability of sample space?
1.
1. So null is null set is something like opposite to sample space. So 1 minus sample space will be null set. So what is 1 minus 1?
0.
0.
So this is the meaning of mutually exclusive. You followed, but stochastic independence means this one actually. It is not 0. So please remember these are two very important. Sometimes people you followed, right? They get they're confused actually. Okay. So like for example, say so like here also I will give you example like in cricket there are I think all of you watched some IPL something say. So like there is a match Bombay Indians versus Delhi Daredevils or something. Okay. So somebody has said there's a probability of Bombay Indians winning actually. This match is 1/6. Okay. Now in similarly say I have another match which is happening, that is a Chennai, you follow it, Super Kings versus some Deccan Chargers or whatever, something is there. Okay, so Deccan Chargers or whatever. So this is another match. Now here probability of CSK winning actually. So this is 1/4. Now if I ask the question, say probability of Bombay Indians winning this match and CSK winning actually. Now what will be this probability? Yeah. So one is between Bombay Indians and Delhi some match. Other one is a Chennai versus some Hyderabad or what, Deccan Chargers. Okay. Now these two matches, are they independent or dependent?
Independent, sir.
So whether they have any, like you see Bombay Indian versus Delhi or Chennai versus Hyderabad. So there is no, you follow. So if they are independent, so what will be this probability?
1/24, sir.
No, 1/6. So because they are independent, sir. One second. Hello? Tell me. So this will be, you follow, right? 1/6 multiplied by 1/4 actually. So this will be 1/24. Okay. Assuming that they are stochastic independence. You followed. So these are the stochastic the independence or whatever you see. So we write like this actually. Okay. So this is a very important the concept in probability theory also. Okay. So you can the stochastic independence makes things easy, because probability of A intersection B will be probability of A and then the probability of B itself. Okay. So this is how you can calculate. So like for example, say all of you are independent, right? See, like you are doing 3 courses, say. What is the probability of getting S grade in stability course? Probability and S grade in stability, S grade in reliability, S grade in something course. Okay, so your performance in all the 3 courses will be independent of each other. So then you can find out individually and you can multiply and then you can find out this the total probability also. Okay, so this also is a very important the concept itself. So you can verify. Okay, so it depends on and the most important thing also I will tell you. So an event say. Okay, being stochastically independent. This is the most important thing you have to understand. Okay, depends on the probability space. So this is a very important thing which some I think many textbooks they don't have. Say like for example, say we have a die throwing problem. We all know fair die means it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6 actually. It is a fair die. Okay, so fair dice means probability of getting 1 or 2 or 3 or any event is how much?
1/6.
1/6. Now I have 3 events. So event A I have 2, 3. Then I have event B, that is even numbers 2, 4, 6. Then I have another event C, that is 2, 4 and then 5. So 3 events are there. Now what is the probability of A? A contains 2 and 3 and it is a fair dice. And what is the probability of A?
2/6.
1/6 plus 1/6, it is a 2/6 actual. Okay, fantastic. So this becomes you see 1/3. What is the probability of B? Now B contains how many things are there inside B? 2, 4 and 6 are there. What is the probability of B?
3/6.
1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. Okay. So probability of getting 2 is also 1/6, 4 is also 1/6 because it's a fair dice. This is 1/2. Now probability of C will be, C contains how many are there? C also, what is the probability of C? C also contains 2, 4 and 5. What is the probability of C?
So 1/2.
1/2 only. Okay. Now I want to find out what is probability A intersection B. What is the probability of A intersection B? Among A and B, say which is common?
2.
2. What is the probability of getting 2?
1 by 6.
1 by 6 actually. Okay. Now you say 1 by 6 is probability of A intersection B. So A intersection B is a 2. And it is a fair die set. So it will be 1 by 6. Now what is probability of A multiplied by probability of B? You know their individual probabilities actually. What happens? A into B. Probability of A multiplied probability of B.
1 by 6.
So what does it? What is your comment? A and B are? No, they are independent or dependent events. Dependent. See, what is meant by stochastic independence? Probability of A intersection B should be
Independent.
P of A into P of B. You followed it. P of A intersection B is a 2. 2 is 1 by 6. I can write the product is also matching, right? So what is A and B are? No.
So independent one.
So it's stochastically independent. Okay. Now I have B intersection C. I want to find out B and C are independent or not. Now what is B intersection C? Look at these things. B intersection C is what is that you will get B intersection C? Now what is common for B and C?
2 and 4.
What is the probability of getting 2 and 4? What is the probability of getting 2?
Sir, 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6.
1 by 6 plus 1 by 6. So that is 2 by 6, that is 1 by 3. Now, what is the probability of B multiplied by probability of C? Now, probability of B is 1 by 2, probability of C is 1 by 2. What is this? Now, what is your comment now? 1 by 4
They
we
are
have
not
got. How?
stochastically independent. They are not independent.
So they are basically dependent actually. You follow? So this is how you have to verify actually whether they are independent or dependent. So if it matches, so then only you follow it. It happens. Now this is for a fair die actually. Okay. Now we have a loaded die also. The same problem here. So now A and B are the independent, whereas B and C are the dependent thing. Now we have the same problems. A loaded die. Okay. So this is a cheating die actually. So here the loaded die, probability of 1 and probability of 2 say they are same. It is 1 by 12 actually. And then probability of 3 and probability of 4 say 4 occurring, both of them are same. This is 1 by 6. And then probability of 5 and then probability of 6 say both of them are same. This is a 1 by 4. It is not 1 by 6, 1 by 6, 1 by 6, 1 by 6. So it is a cheating die actually. The mass has been altered such that some numbers occurs. So which one will occur this die? Which number will occur frequently among all those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Which is having more probability?
5 and 6.
5 and 6 actually. Okay. Now the same problem we will do. What is the probability of getting A? What is A? A is A contains 2 and 3. Okay.
2 and 3.
Now what is the probability of A? 2 and 3. Tell me. So what is the probability of A now? So now A contains, what are the things? A contains 2 and 3. What is the probability of 2?
1 by 12.
1 by 12. 3 is?
1 by 6.
1 by 12 plus 1 by 6 actual. Okay. This turns out to be how much? 1 by 12 plus 1 by 6 is 1 by 4. Okay. And now what is the probability of B? So what is B here? B is the 2, 4 and 6 actual. Okay. So now add what is the probability of getting 2?
Sir, I have
1 by 12. 4 is?
Sir.
For 4, what is the probability?
1 by
1
6.
by 6.
1 by 6. And for 6 is?
1 by 4.
1 by 4. Okay. So this if you add, it turns out to be 1 by 2. Now probability of C. Now C
I have
contains.
one question, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, but the probability of the sample space is not 1, so it doesn't follow axiomatic definition.
No, it is satisfies, right? See here, 1 by 12 plus 1 by 12. Add these things.
Okay, okay.
Say 1 by 12 plus 1 by 12 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4. So if you add all those things, it turns out to be 1, right?
Yes, sir.
So probability of sample space is still 1 only. True, no? See, 1 by 12 plus 1 by 12 plus
I think
1
he
by
counted
6.
once.
Yes,
He
sir.
Oh,
counted
you
once.
counted once.
He would have done that, I guess.
So if you add all these things, say you should get 1. You followed. So now it satisfies, right? 1.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now tell me what is the probability of C? C is 2, 4, 5.
1 by 2, sir.
1 by 12 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6. So this is also 1 by 2. Okay. Now you see everything is changed because
The
it is
last
a
one
loaded.
is 1 by 4. I mean,
Which one? Sorry, 1 by.
Sir, 1 by 12.
1 by 12 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 4, 2, 4, 5. Okay, fine. It's fine only, right?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me what is the probability of A intersection B. Now you tell me this one. What is A intersection B?
2, sir.
2. What is the probability of getting 2?
1 by 12.
1 by 12. Suppose if it is independent, stochastically independent, say it should be same as P of A into P of B. What is the P of A into P of B?
1 by
1
8.
by 4 into 1 by 2. So this is 1 by 8. Now they are same or different?
They are different. So.
Different.
So what is your comment? A and B should be?
Dependent, stochastically dependent.
They are dependent events. Now probability of B intersection C. What is a B intersection C? What is common between B and C?
2 and 4.
What is the probability of getting 2? 1 by 12. Probability of getting 4 is 1 by 6 actually. Okay, so this turns out to be 1 by 4. Now whether this is same as a probability of B multiplied by probability of C. Now what is the probability of B is 1 by 2. Probability of C is 1 by 2. Now this is also 1 by 4. Now what is the comment?
They're independent. B and C are independent.
So B and C are independent actually. Now you see this problem and the previous problem. Now A and B are dependent, B and C are independent actually. But in the previous case, what has happened? Now, what is your comment? Previously, what was the situation? Which were dependent, which were independent?
Previously, A and B are independent. B and C are dependent.
Now, reverse has happened actually. You followed. So, what is your comment now? The most important observation. What is that? Whether stochastic independence is unique thing or what is that you are you got information. No. Now, what is anything you can make out there?
It's not a unique thing. It depends upon the situation.
So it is not a unique thing. So it is depending on what? What is the most important thing which is changing the entire thing itself? Now, it depends on your
Probability space.
So now in the first problem we gave 1 by 6, 1 by 6, 1 by 6, 1 by 6. We got some answer. In the second thing, same dice, we said it is a loaded die. We have altered the, the like you see, Axiomatic definition of probability says you can assign any value you want, but it should be more than 0, maximum should be 1, like that. Now here I have changed this thing, but of course probability of sample space is still 1 only. So now what happens is, so suddenly what has happened is you are getting, you follow different results itself. So the most important observation is your stochastic independence is not, a unique thing actually, okay? So the stochastic independence is it is not a unique, the thing. It depends on, okay, is not unique. So it depends on your the sample space or whatever. It depends on not sample space, the probability space actually. Okay, so it highly depends on the probability space. This is a very important thing. So like in our calculations, say we will see later on also. Suppose if things are not dependent, say like it is something like this only. So what we do is if things are dependent, so what we try to do, like our stress matrix in advanced structural mechanics you would have done. What is stress? No, stress is a matrix, right? It is a what type of matrix is stress? So like stress matrix you have studied, right? What is stress matrix? What type of matrix it is? It is a symmetric matrix. So it will have off diagonal terms. It also will have diagonal terms, right? Shear as well as a tension. Now what do? If you want to make it full diagonals, what is that you try to do?
We map into onto a principal plane.
Yeah, principal plane. So what does it tell you? Whatever stress matrix you are having, it depends on your coordinate system. Suppose if you rotate the coordinate system, so you will get different answers actually. So here also you can say stochastic independence also is it is a function of your probability space. If you change these numbers, say this also will change actually. So now you can ask interesting questions like what is a coordinate system where A and B become independent, whereas B and C becomes dependent. So you can vary the something like that. It is something like the same as your stress matrix, which is not unique actually, which depends on your coordinate system. You change the coordinate system, you will get different answer. Okay, so this is a very the important thing which you should understand actually. Okay, so with this our probability things say. So we have covered the definition of probability. Okay, so the axiomatic definition we have covered. Then conditional probability. Okay, so this we have covered. Then the total probability theorem say. Okay, so this also we have covered. Then the Bayes theorem. Okay, then the stochastic independence. So with this, our probability, the fundamental things to say, there we have all completed actually. So in the next class, we will start our concept of random variable. Okay. So we will start our this random variable. Okay. So anyway, I have one DC meeting right now. Okay. So I have to attend that Bible. So if you have any questions, you please ask me.
Sir, I have one question.
Which one?
Sir, when